သိချင်လို့
ဒါပေမဲ့ကိုကတော့ကိုလည်းဟိုပါဖြစ်တယ်
Dear participant, thank you for joining. I will wait for a couple of minutes so all the people, those who are in lobby, can join and we will start. Thank you. Thank you for joining in time.
Hi Jepa,
Hi, Bojidma. How are you?
greetings.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. Okay, colleagues, I think we have around 45 participants, so we can start now, and maybe some people, those who are in a lobby or still trying to join, they can join in a few minutes. So thank you all the participants. Welcome to our webinar on capacity building support for greenhouse gas projection for the BTR, Biennial Transparency Report under the Enhanced Transparency Framework ETF. And I am delighted to see so many of you joining us from the all the countries of the Asia. And as you are aware that we are approaching the crucial deadline of the December 31st, 2024 for the submission of the first BTR. This webinar comes at a pivotal time, and the BTR present a significant milestone in our all the collective effort to enhance the transparency in climate action under the Paris Agreement. So I will in today's agenda, I will go through some slide and then I will take some short survey through Mentimeter, and I will also uh, take a one group photo of our beautiful picture together through this virtual platform. And before starting this, my slideshow, I would also like to introduce my colleagues from the US EPA. So I will also request the Eric, Gokul, and Paulina to start there. Just turn on your camera so I can introduce you to the all this community of the Asian people. So let me start with the Eric. Eric Smith has a 25 years of experience with the US EPA, working on greenhouse gas modeling and contributing to the US National Climate Strategy, the US Long-Term Strategy, and the US Biennial Report. He has led project improving the representation of renewable energy in models and improving the characterization of vulnerable communities. So I think those people who are already working from so many years in the climate change, they are very well aware about him. But I would just would like to thank him, and as a, from the CBIT GSP, I would also like to thank them that for this very good collaboration, and we are together to support all the Asian countries to specifically in greenhouse gas modeling and projection and everything. Let me also welcome my colleague from our USCPA, Dr. Gokul Iyer. He is an earth scientist and team leader at the Joint Global Change Research Institute, which is short form is JGCRI. Gokul has also over a decade of experience in leading a research on various topics related to the global change, such as integrated analysis of energy, economic, water, land, and climate system, long-term energy system transition, decarbonization strategy. Also, Gokul was also contributing author to the sixth assessment report of the IPCC, and he is on the editorial board of the Environmental Research Letters and Energy and Climate Change. So thank you Gokul for joining today's meeting. And I would also like to one of our presenters and colleague from the USCPA and PNNL team, that Pailina. You can also see he is on the screen. Pailina is also research analyst at the Pacific Northwest National Laboratory. She has experience in modeling a decarbonization pathway, evaluating emission reduction strategy, and exploring the climate impact to energy system. She's, she specialized in the applied research with a focus on science and communication. Uh, I would also request colleague to please turn off your mic until we will give a proper. Okay, thank you. So yeah, so that's the quick introduction of the our today's presenter. And as from the my talk, you understand that we have a very well versatile people, specifically expert in this greenhouse gas projections and modeling. And now this greenhouse gas emission become a more important as a part of the NDC or the BTR or the long-term strategy document, LTLEDS. Or so let me share some few slide about the uh, today's webinar, and then we will take a one quick survey and then one quick group photo. So let me share my screen. So as I mentioned that greenhouse gas emission inventory, all thing you are already aware that is a critical component of the BTR. And one of the important part of this greenhouse gas emission is the projection. And now it become a mandatory under this ETF, where we have to report at least greenhouse gas emission projection with existing measures. So what is your country's emission in 2025, 2030, 2035? By the gap of every 5 years, we have to report in the NDC chapter. So this projection is are more than just number. They are a powerful tool actually, which allow us to understand our potential future emission under the various scenario. It also demonstrates the expected impact of our current and planned policy that we have already in the implemented or plan in the country. It is also allowed to assess whether we are on a track to meet our NDC target or the long-term climate goals, or we are all what is the progress of our net zero strategy. So considering this all, developing and reporting the greenhouse gas projection can be a challenging that we understand, and that's why we are here today to provide support, share expertise, and build capacity across our region. So in the next 1.5 hours, we will cover the several important topics. We will tell you about the role and importance of the greenhouse gas projection in the BTR, introducing the Paris Agreement Transparency Accelerator by the US EPA team. We will also say the detail about the capacity building support available to all of you to report this greenhouse gas projection. And in the last, we will also announce an upcoming workshop that we are planning in the next month with the support of the US EPA and PNNL team. So let me quickly show you some slide. So in today's agenda, as I will cover this introduction and welcome, and then we will go to Eric regarding the overview of our Paris Agreement Transparency Accelerator, which was launched by the US EPA. Then we will move to the Gokul and Pailina for the understanding the what are the support available for greenhouse gas emission projection in the BTR. And then again, the next presentation is about the overview of upcoming virtual workshop that we are planning in the October, and we all would like to invite you for that. And Gokul and Pailina will give you more brief about what is this workshop, how you can participate, what is the content and everything. And then we have a proper set of question and discussion regarding everything that you want to discuss or anything that you want to provide a suggestion, feedback, comment, anything regarding the greenhouse gas emission projections. So this is the quick agenda of today's webinar. And as I mentioned, the transparency is a very important topic now in this for the all developing countries. And good thing that we are, of course, we all are standing at a different point, but maybe at some time we will reach at one point where we are all at the same place. We all face a different situation regarding the climate change. We have a different technical expertise, technical team for reporting the climate change. But in short, as you know, Article 13 is the main agreement, main article under the Paris Agreement, which tell everything about the transparency and implementing this enhanced transparency framework through MPGs, which we call modality, procedure, and guideline, which tell us everything about what to follow when we are preparing and implementing the enhanced transparency framework. And you all aware that 31st December is the deadline, and one of the important chapter that I consider is the greenhouse gas emissions. And under this emission, projection is a very important part now for as we all developing countries now reporting the NDC, which we are not reported earlier. So I think projection will be a very important part for that. And you are also aware that every 5 years, the global stock take process is also a new thing which was done in the last COP28 in the Dubai. But whatever the NDC goals, policy action, and measures that we are declared in our NDC, it will also analyze and as a part of synthesis report, or you can say from the all the country, which we call the GST, Global Stock Take. And for the quick introduction about the before the ETF means before signing the Paris Agreement, and currently what are the changes in the for the developed country and developing countries. So developed country are already doing the detailed reporting of the greenhouse gas emissions, all the policy action measures that they are taking in their country in a proper tabular format, in also in a textual format. But now, earlier, we are not doing this in detail. We only report the national communication every 4 years and BUR every 2 years. And we also we also have some relaxation in following the guidelines. But now we are in almost in the same stage. All developing countries will follow the enhanced transparency framework. We all follow the MPG guideline for preparing the BTR. So BTR will be now one common document for all of us, and the two main chapter under this are the greenhouse gas inventory and the NDC. And under the NDC, one most important is the projection of greenhouse gas emissions and the sink, which is the target of our today's webinar. So with this, I think, yeah, this is the end of my slide, but this is just want to give you a quick introduction that we of course have a flexibility and everything related to, as we are still developing countries and moving towards from implementing the enhanced transparency framework. We are still enhancing our capacity and everything that we are doing in terms of reporting this all climate change reports or national communications or BUR or BTR. So let me stop sharing and I will quickly go take you through the quick survey through which we will would like to know that what is your, where you have joined, what is your current role, what is your role in the preparation of the greenhouse gas inventory or the projections or in the BTR. So let me share the link in the chat box and I will also share through a QR code. Just give me a 1 minute. Okay, so I have posted the link in the chat box and I will also share the screen. It's a self-paced Mentimeter survey. So those who are able to click the link, please, you can go ahead with the answering the all the question. But those who are not able to access the chat, please scan this QR code. Or you can also just type www.menti.com and enter the code 6760 5336. We only have a 3 or 4 question where we would like to know about where you have, from which region you have joined, and what is your role in the BTR, what is your expectation. So let me start. Okay, I have already 12 people, those who have joined. So I will request all other people. We have around more than 55 people already in the webinar. So uh, I would request everyone to please access the link in the chat box, or you can scan the QR code in the screen. Okay, 20 people have joined. Okay, so we have a, let me move to the next slide. So here we would like to know that are you involved in the preparation of current BTR or BUR or national communications or the NDC, uh, maybe a revised NDC or the previous NDC that you have already declared. Yeah, so we have a good number of people, those who are already involved in this national reporting of BTR, BUR, NC, or even the NDC. So after the deadline of the BTR, we also have a deadline of submitting the NDC in the next year, 2025, by 10th of the February. So those people are in the NDC team. This webinar will be also very much important for you as you are reporting this greenhouse gas projection, and all these emissions will be directly linked to the NDC. And what is your role in the preparation of your country's first BTR if you are involved, or in the revised NDC that country will submit in the next year 2025? So we have some modeler, we have some people from mitigation and projection team. There is some person is focal point of the NDC. Some person are focal point for the sectorial. Okay, some is the reviewer. Okay, some are the data provider, some is the project manager, okay, BTR coordinator. BTR coordinator. Okay, NID. Okay, inventory consultant. Okay, so we have a group of people, but mostly the people that we have are related to the preparation of BTR. That's a very good thing. And we also have a mixed people, those who are working in the NDC. That's, as I mentioned, the two main important chapters of this BTR. And the next question is, do you plan to report greenhouse gas projection? All the three scenario with existing, with additional measure, and with current without policy in the first BTR. So that's the good thing that almost most of the people are planning to report the greenhouse gas emission projection, and that's our today's objective, to give you more information about the projections and how the projection will be become a very important role, playing a role in this BTR and the NDC and everything. Okay, so thank you so much for the answer. The link is still active. So those who have not able to join, please click the link in the chat box. And as we have around more than 60 people, so I would request all of you to please turn on your camera so I can take a very beautiful group picture. And then we will move towards next to the presentations of my colleagues from the US EPA. But I would request all of you to please turn on your camera so we can have a very good group picture. I will wait for 1 minute so everyone can turn on their camera. Okay, few more seconds. Okay, let me take a first snapshot of a beautiful faces. Keep smiling until I have to take a 2 or 3 shots. Uh, One last. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today's webinar, and turn on your camera, giving a beautiful smile. I think it's a quick, I think, morning or afternoon for all of us, but it's midnight for our US colleague, and I would like to welcome and again uh, really thankful for them to joining even a midnight from the US, and organizing and presenting a very good content about the all this greenhouse gas emission projection, and your intents to support this all developing countries. So with this, I would like to welcome my colleague Eric Smith from the US EPA to take over this webinar, and in the next he will give you more information about the how US EPA accelerator and everything. So uh, Eric, the floor is yours. Thank you for joining, and I will also save the screen. So yes.
Jay Paul, thank you very much. On behalf of the US EPA, I welcome everyone. I'm very pleased and so grateful that everybody was able to join to commit your time to this, and to turning on your cameras so we can so Jay Paul can photograph us. It's a good group. The Transparency Accelerator project is officially now the Paris Agreement Transparency Accelerator. We're building on the support that and the technical assistance that we have been providing for greenhouse gas inventories. With the enhanced transparency framework now expanding to additional reporting requirements and additional reporting, we are expanding our technical assistance offerings. We would like to invite everyone who's involved with the BTRs and with their NDCs to contact us and work with us as you're working on your tracking progress and also on the greenhouse gas emissions projections. And what we're hoping to do is to work with partner countries over the long term. We understand that the BTRs for this round are upcoming, but the transparency process, the ability to understand where we are, where we're going, and to look forward to this is a long-term sort of endeavor, and we look forward to building collaborations in order to work together to assist each other in getting there. The U.S. I work as a BTR. I work with BTR coordinators. I work and contribute to that. My colleagues that we'll be introducing are modelers who work with us in developing the projections. We work as a large team. We all benefit when we have the transparency, the technical expert review come and ask us questions, and we learn. We collaborate with our colleagues in other countries, and we work on processes like the Stanford Energy Modeling Forum. We work with collaborations where we get to see that we're not the only ones doing this, and then we get to work collaboratively to improve our processes. And we're hoping to host the opportunity and invite countries and invite participants to join us in this effort, to share with us, teach us, learn with us. J-Paul, if you could advance the slide, please. The Paris Transparency Accelerator, specifically for the greenhouse gas projections, as I say, we're looking for long-term collaborative engagement. And we would like to build the community, work with others, work and let other countries work with each other, encourage people to share their expertise, share their learning, share what works, what doesn't work, explain to each other and to us what for the very purpose of transparency, what are the capacity development needs? What are the where are the issues that we encounter as we're preparing the BTRs? We would like to develop and support sustained in-country technical expertise. We also recognize, in my organization, in our organization, we have the greenhouse gas projections practitioners. May not be exactly the same people who are coordinating the BTRs. My colleagues that I'll introduce here in a moment work for the Department of Energy Pacific Northwest National Laboratory in very close coordination with the Environmental Protection Agency and EPA in the United States, and they have a slightly different mandate from EPA and from the Department of Energy themselves. They're essentially academic researchers working on long-term modeling development. Through the Transparency Accelerator, we invite bilateral consultations and capacity building. Certainly contact us. You'll have my information, and you'll have the information from the for the greenhouse gas inventory and the Paris Transparency Accelerator website and our general email address. But we also are envisioning long-term multilateral partnerships. We hope to, through this process, to have an ongoing community of interest for involving the BTR coordinators. We know that this is not an easy job, that there's often multiple responsibilities. Sometimes you get asked to work on your BTR and then may not be asked to work on it again. The goal is to work on and develop a community where what you learn can be passed on to someone else if you change jobs or if the responsibilities are fallen to someone else. where where you will have had the opportunity to develop relationships with people in other countries and your own government work within your own collaborations, so that the institutional knowledge and the learning that goes on in developing a BTR can be sustained and built upon over time. We also understand that there's a lot of demands on your time. The various organizations would like you to participate in capacity building. We are happy to work with all of those folks and leverage each other's efforts so that we can all benefit. The transparency community, the greenhouse gas projection community, can all benefit from each other's expertise. To that end, we look forward to collaborating with you. We look forward to working with you to understand your needs for capacity building. I have to say up front that our effort is devoted to capacity building. We can work with you to develop tools. We can work with you to develop technical assistance, and we can work in providing technical advice. But through that process and developing the relationships, the hope is that we can work as a community to further the goals of the Transparency Accelerator and the Paris Transparency, the Paris Agreement, Transparency, Environmental Enhanced Transparency, whatever that is. Anyway, I'm going to confuse myself. In any event, we look forward to working with you, and I will now pass it off to my colleagues, Gokul Iyer and Paulina De Stefano.
Thank you, Eric. And J. Paul, could you advance the slide, please? Yeah, so I'll be talking a bit about some of the ways that we are going to be offering support for greenhouse gas projections. And starting with a bit of an overview about what some of the benefits of greenhouse gas projections are and why we think that these are important and deserving of everyone's time. I think J. Paul did a great job speaking through some of these benefits in his opening remarks. And I think that also we see, the way that greenhouse gas projections are a new requirement for the BTR for all countries under the Enhanced Transparency Framework really highlights the importance, the important role of greenhouse gas projections in informing decision makers on climate action progress, on the level of climate ambition, sort of globally and on a national level. So we could get quite philosophical about some of the benefits of greenhouse gas projections, but I would like to highlight a few key areas that we have found to be particularly impactful. And so this first one is transparency. Greenhouse gas projections are part of the ETF. Transparency is in the name of that. We find them to be required to promote transparency, which is this crucial underpinning and the ability of the UNFCCC, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, to do its work and for countries to be able to build trust in each other as we're coming together to reduce emissions globally. Huge mandate, huge problem, but a great opportunity that we can enhance by our accurate and clear reporting of greenhouse gas projections. It also supports, as J. Paul mentioned, the global stocktake and other ways that we have of tracking progress in implementing the NDCs and other commitments that countries are making, such as the long-term strategies. We've also found that the exercise of producing projections can really support strong institutional arrangements. So while transparency is maybe seen as a benefit, a global benefit, some of the work that goes into producing GHG projections can really benefit governments as well. They can enable these sort of critical long-term national capacity in order to provide reliable information, fulfilling international reporting requirements. It's an opportunity to engage with domestic research efforts to bring some of this expertise in-house to avoid reinventing the wheel by going externally to build this capacity both domestically and within the government as well. And we also find that it supports intergovernmental cooperation throughout the projection process, whether that's securing data or learning to evaluate policies. There's a lot of crosstalk that's available to strengthen intergovernmental cooperation and collaboration. And finally, greenhouse gas projections support decision-making and implementation by equipping decision makers with information about potential efficacy of decarbonization policies. It can also help support decision-making around developing new targets, such as the greenhouse gas reduction targets for the NDCs. This is a bit of an important point because while we are focused on the BTR, we do see, a tremendous amount of overlap in the work that goes into NDCs as well. So again, while this focus is more BTR specific, I think as evidenced by some of the folks who have joined the call, there's quite a bit of overlap in the efforts. J. Paul, if you could advance to the next slide. Thank you. So practically, how are projections integrated into the BTRs? So in accordance with the modalities, procedures, and guidelines, again, thank you, J. Paul, for overviewing all of this. The projections are included in the second chapter of the BTR alongside the broad category of information necessary to track progress made in implementing and achieving an NDC. So there are, several flexibilities regarding these projections. However, notably, when countries are using flexibilities, there's, important self-determined documentation for how countries plan to improve over time. The MPGs also offer high-level guidance on, how far projections must extend, what scenarios need to be included. We kind of spoke about that earlier, the format for the projections, the common tabular format, et cetera, among other things. But while these high-level details are in the MPGs, there's still a good deal of decisions that countries will need to make in order to complete the life cycle of their GHG projections. There's decisions around what input data to use, how to define scenarios, what modeling tools that need to be chosen, how to communicate results. And based on the previous experiences of the Paris Agreement Transparency Accelerator, we have several offerings that GoCool will be talking through in this next slide, which are meant to support countries as they are navigating this new requirement and trying to make all of these decisions that exist in the space between the rules of the MPGs. Next slide, please. So if this all hands off.
Yeah, thanks, Paulina, and thanks, J. Paul and Eric also for setting the stage here. So in terms of the potential, activities that we could think about as part of these, this capacity building project or collaboration effort, we could think about, multiple ways to construct this collaboration. The first one is around community building. So essentially, what our offer is to create an ongoing forum for collaboration among a cohort of countries that are engaged, that are involved in developing the greenhouse gas projections for the BTRs. And by creating that forum, we would like to ensure that there is there's cooperation toward transparency. And our goal is really to develop a lasting capability. And this is not like a one-time thing. Like we really want to make sure that whatever capacity building work that we are enabling through this project is lasting. It can be leveraged for other activities that Paulina and others mentioned. For example, for the NDC and for other target setting, and also for future BTRs. So the second group of activities that we could potentially think about is a little bit more on the technical side. So where we could potentially offer some technical assistance for the projections of greenhouse gas emissions and sinks. We could potentially help in choosing the right models, choosing the right tools for for the greenhouse gas projections in the BTRs. We could provide some assistance on the scenario development, and also developing the representations of various policies and the mitigation actions in the different in the different scenarios. And depending on the tool that you're using, we could also potentially offer some technical training to you and your team of modelers that will be involved in the projections work. Finally, our goal is really to help to improve the global transparency objective, and toward that goal, what this project, what our collaboration can also offer is potentially opportunity for the participants to publish their modeling results and approaches in a peer-reviewed paper. And that will be available in the form of a scientific journal special issue. We are working to put together a journal special issue where all the country specific modeling work that goes into the BTR can then be converted into a peer-reviewed manuscript, and then it will go through scientific peer review, which will then enable us to improve the transparency objective of the ETF. J. Paul, could you advance one slide, please? So those are, what I just mentioned were like, sort of like broad kinds of activities that our collaboration could offer. In addition, we are also happy to offer some type of like bilateral technical assistance. So and to facilitate more bilateral technical assistance, we will work to provide a work with you and other collaborators and other country partners to develop a work plan and a timeline to guide that collaboration. And the work plan could involve many activities, and it could take the form of, for example, assistance for the BTR submissions, and assistance toward providing and modeling the greenhouse gas projections. And again, as I mentioned earlier, assistance in selecting the greenhouse gas projections tools. There are many tools available out there, including open source tools and so forth. So assistance in selecting the tools that are of best value to you all. I mean, that's something that we can use our expertise to provide some guidance on. We are also happy to provide assistance on integrating different types of tools. Many countries tend to use not only single tools but also different types of tools. So how do we integrate them for different economic sectors such as the energies, industry, land use, and forestry. We are also happy to help with the design of the greenhouse gas projections, identifying the data gaps, developing meaningful assumptions for the projections, and also the scenarios. So eventually, the projections section of the BTR will need to include a without measures, with measures, and with additional measures scenarios. So based on our expertise, we are happy to provide guidance and assistance in developing assumptions for those scenarios. We are also happy to offer technical assistance in documenting the assumptions and the data sources. As J. Paul mentioned, our teams at EPA and the Joint Global Change Institute, have deep expertise in developing some of these documents, and so we are also happy to offer capacity building approaches and assistance in communication of the results and documentation of the work in the BTR itself. Next slide. All right. So with that, background and context about this overall collaboration and the potential activities that we could engage in this collaboration and in this project, if there's interest from you all, our first step to facilitating some of these collaborative and community building activities is to organize a virtual workshop. So I will give you some insight into our workshop objectives, and then Pelina will walk through some of the detailed agenda items of that workshop as well. Next slide, please. So essentially, this is a virtual workshop that we are organizing. It's virtual. It's on Zoom. The date is tentatively between October 21st and November 1st. Approximately for 2.5 hours. And the medium of the workshop will be in English. We are still developing the details of the workshop. And we really welcome participation in the planning of the workshop and also and also just general collaboration with other capacity building institutions, so that if you think there are other institutions to be included in this activity, please do let us know, so we can all get together and make sure we are leveraging synergies across various efforts. So really, the goal of this workshop is to initiate an ongoing forum for the BTR coordinators, such as yourselves and greenhouse gas projection experts and modelers, and build a forum for collaboration, to be able to interact with counterparts in other countries and international experts. So this forum and this workshop really invites engagement, and it aims to foster cross-country learning. And we are really not assuming any current capacity. So regardless of how much modeling capacity countries have, they're welcome to participate and engage in this workshop. And contribute to discussions about BTR projections, the plans, or projection methodology, and so forth. We hope to introduce available expertise on our side, on the side of the US EPA, the Joint Institute, and other partnering organizations through the Paris Agreement Transparency Accelerator, and in particular, we are really interested in providing long-term support for multilateral as well as bilateral collaborative capacity building activities. So overall, our goal for this workshop is to create a forum to gain a deeper understanding of the technical assistant needs for greenhouse gas projection support, and just get a better sense for the status of plans for the BTR submissions, and in the process also share knowledge and share more information about the BTR modeling and methodologies and so forth. So again, it's a virtual meeting. It will tentatively be held between October 21st and November 1st. The duration of the workshop is expected to be 2.5 hours. It'll be in English, and we are still in the planning phase of the workshop. And so any thoughts, any feedback that you all have in how the workshop should be, what you're looking for in a workshop of this type, that is all welcome. So please reach out to us if you have any thoughts on that. So with that, let me pass the baton on to Pelina.
Thank you, Gokul. And Jaypal, could you just advance one slide? Perfect, thanks. So Gokul is correct in saying that we are very much still in the planning process for this workshop. However, we have developed some ideas around what the agenda might look like. And again, we are very interested in your thoughts regarding if this structure seems appropriate, if there's other things you'd like to see. even if it's not in this upcoming workshop. As Gokul and Eric have mentioned, this is intended to be a long-term process with multiple opportunities for everyone to engage. So the workshop agenda would have a bit of a detail regarding the importance of GHG projections for transparency, focused around lessons that are learned from existing projections. So we, as a research project at PNNL and JICRI, have done a comprehensive look at the BUR and BR submissions to try and identify where there are areas that there may be capacity needs required, as well as getting an understanding for what types of institutional arrangements tend to lead to more complete projections. So we'll be offering some insights from that research within the framework of this workshop. We'll also have a session that focuses more on bridging the government and researchers, so speaking to successful cases of in-country capacity building. We are partnering with quite a few different organizations as part of this Paris Agreement Transparency Accelerator, including folks who have really deep expertise in working with a variety of tools and in a variety of capacity building projects. So drawing on all of that expertise, we'll offer some insights into where we see really strong collaboration between government and researchers. Again, we're looking at some of these methods for building in-country capacity and supporting long-term research partnerships. We'll also talk through an overview of greenhouse gas projection tools. So this will be a survey of some of the common steps for developing greenhouse gas projections, as well as a review of some modeling tools as well. So this will help sort of serve as a framework for us as we're discussing, where we might have capacity gaps. Is it in some of this input data? Is it the modeling tools not being well suited? Or, things like communicating results, harmonizing outputs, etc. We'll also be having participation from a few country teams as well. So we have a couple presenters lined up to talk through their plans regarding their own BTR submissions, as well as some of the challenges that they've been facing and their interests around capacity building. So we have a couple of presenters lined up, and they'll also sort of in their presentations help tee off this moderated discussion, which will allow us to, dig a little deeper into some of the experiences of workshop participants, really be focused around sharing and again, developing this program to better understand how the Paris Agreement Transparency Accelerator could support capacity building for GHG projections. And yeah, again, so we welcome your thoughts, and we will also, as we have more details about the date, be circulating this through the list of attendees at this webinar as well. So everyone will have an opportunity to join the workshop. And J-Paul, I think that would be sort of the end of our slides and heading into the question and discussion section.
Thank you, Paulina. Thank you, Gokul, and thank you, Eric, for the quick introduction and also the brief about everything about greenhouse gas emission projection and how the US EPA Accelerator team, PNNL, and CBIT GSP are available to support you in this task of reporting a greenhouse gas emission projection. And now we have all the presentation is finished, and we will open this floor for question and answer. So if anyone has any comment, any suggestion, anything to share with us, please, Yes, Mr. Eric, please. You are muted.
It is too late in the morning here for me, folks. I'm sorry, but thank you very much, J. Paul. Thank you everybody for your continued attention. As we would like to say, as we start the question and answer period, again, we are looking to develop a long-term relationship with the countries and with this community. On our team includes experts in greenhouse gas projections, and also in capacity building. We have Charlie Heaps from the Stockholm Environment Institute, who's developed the LEAP model. We have the Greenhouse Gas Management Institute that has long expertise in developing and working with inventories and working in developing countries with lots of different capacity and lots of different technical assistance. And with professionals and contractors at ICF Incorporated, we've been working with the US EPA for decades on inventories and other greenhouse gas projects. Gokul mentioned the possibility of a journal issue and journal publications. And this is important to what we're trying to do in terms of capacity building, but it's not just for the modelers that we're hoping to learn lessons. We would like to learn from the modelers what they're doing, what the assumptions they're using, what tools they're using, what issues they're finding, but also from the point of view of the BTR coordinators and the NDC coordinator. What are the lessons that you're learning? What has worked for you? What has not worked for you? Where are the areas where of capacity building, of collaboration, of moving forward, that you learn that you can contribute to the broader communities of the UNFCCC and the Enhanced Transparency Framework. I'm trying to remember that, so that we can all get better at this in the future. So this is the goal of this workshop and these series of engagements, and also the bilateral engagement that we would like to invite everyone to participate in. So with that, we look forward to your questions. Let us know what you need.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. And as Eric mentioned, this initiative with the US EPA and the PNLL team is to understand you that projection is now become very important, and all of you have sometime somewhere have already done some kind of projection. Maybe you have not published in a national document or somewhere, but like those people who are involved in the NDC developing, putting some goal, you have already done some kind of backhand work to develop the projection to see how we are doing in the terms of all the policies or what we have climate change emissions in the future. Some people are involved in the long-term energy transition document, LTLEDs. We have prepared that. Some have prepared the national adaptation plan. Some of you have involved in the mitigation chapter. So somehow we already done some kind of projection, but now we all have to report proper in a tabular format that this is the greenhouse gas emission projection removals, what will be our emissions or removal in the future, every 5 years every 5 years gap. So this is the table 7 of the CTF in the NDC, where we have to provide sector-wise projection. So that's the main objective, that we are available to support you, as Eric mentioned. And is there anything that you want to share with us? Please, you can also unmute your mic and speak, or you can also put it in the chat box also. I have already received, I think, one question from Rajan. Rajan is from Nepal, and is there any possibility to organize a joint capacity building event in Nepal focusing on greenhouse gas inventory projection and also in drafting the BTR? Yes, I think, and the good thing is that PNNL and USCPA team has already reached to Nepal, so maybe we can have a bilateral discussions and we can plan something better for the local people or the national experts of the Nepal. And the second question is, what is the implication if countries fail to submit their BTR by this December? for LDC, there is some flexibility. So if we have identified that we will be not meeting the deadline, do we need to communicate it to the UNFCCC Secretariat? As there is under the, if we are not able to submit BTR by the end of this year, there is a compliance committee, the new rule under this UNFCCC Secretariat. So each country developing or developed has to maybe in a consultation with Paris PCCB, which is called the Paris Committee Compliance Committee something. So where we have to provide a kind of explanation also, and maybe with this consultation, they will prepare the kind of challenges or the list of capacity building needs that country needs, why they are not able to submit something. But it's nothing like that kind of a penalty or something. But the main idea is to gather the all country and they are able to submit this report at in a one common format. So it is also the comparable and transparent as much as so. That's the only requirement. But as you mentioned, the least developed country and small islands are also have some flexibility, so they can submit in 2025 also without any explanation or anything. But for all developing and developed countries are already doing so. For the developing now, we have to report this from the December before end of this year. So yeah, that's the only kind of restriction or a requirement from the UNFCCC Secretariat. And yeah, I think if anyone has anything, please unmute your mic. I have also two questions through Mentimeter, which will I run in maybe a few minutes if I have not received any question. But as Eric and his team are available to support you in this program, I think I have a question from Tegi from Mongolia, please.
Hello, Jipal, and thank you for presenters for the presentations. And I have one question about the bilateral capacity building. Are you planning, or is it is it possible to have a bilateral hands-on training on greenhouse gas inventory projections?
Yeah,
I'll go
Eric,
ahead and answer
please.
that. Yes, yes. As we get to the end of the slides, the contact information is there. Certainly, contact us. Let us know. There are we have opportunities for travel. Maybe not myself, but some of our team can certainly be involved, and we look forward to working with you.
Okay, thank you. Then it means if we need it, we can inform you and how to say request you about the bilateral hands-on training. Okay, thank you.
Yes, that's an invitation that's open to everyone. There's the bilateral process of becoming a partner country. There is it's as simple as you send. There's an email address that we will have at the end of the presentation. Your country, as a government official, you can request that the US EPA engage in as a partner country with you in the capacity building for the Transparency Accelerator. And there's a development of a work plan and some formalities, but we can also work as through this kind of an arrangement. If you have direct questions, we may be able to answer them. But there is a formal process, and we're happy, and we invite everyone to participate. We also, as I say again, we invite everybody to participate in the longer term, more collaborative community work that we envision and we hope to engage with.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so if this is not only a support activity for the first BTR, as Eric mentioned, it's a long-term process, and we are available to support you. Maybe not 1 year, but 2, 3, 4, 5 years. As much as the projection, we are available to support you. So yes, Tegi, please. Okay, I think it's I
No,
missed it.
sorry. Yeah,
Okay, no problem.
my mistake.
So as we mentioned, greenhouse gas emission projection is a longer exercise, and there are so many tools you have also heard about that, which are some countries are used. Some is the LEAP or GASMO or GCAM or AIM model, and even USEPA also has some their own model. So there are so many tools are also available to do this kind of exercise in projection, and some of you have already only done through Excel only, through just put some projection. As we have, this is not a important task for a developing country as of now, but now under the BTR it becoming important. And now we are reporting the NDC also, which is completely linked with the greenhouse gas emission. So I think both the team, those who are preparing the greenhouse gas emission, also preparing the NDC of the country, the one component that are linked to both of them is the greenhouse gas emission projection. So, and that's the main idea about the today's webinar and also the upcoming workshop that we are planning in the next month. So if you have any question related to today's session, please feel free to ask. Or I can also run some small Mentimeter where you can enter your suggestion, comment, feedback.
I'd like to note just one thing, as J. Paul noted in the first Mentimeter, many of the countries responded that maybe they'll include a GHG projection with their BTR, right? We'd be happy to talk with you. The process doesn't have to be overwhelmingly complicated with incredibly sophisticated models. The main thing is simply to be transparent, to make sure that the data is understood, and that you're clear about the assumptions and the modeling, the approach that you use. We look forward to collaborating with everybody on this. And as we say, whether you're planning to include one this year or looking forward to learning about doing it in the future, certainly please let us know.
Yeah, so the floor is still open, and I have also saved the screen of Mentimeter where you can also enter your feedback, suggestion, and we would also like to know about our upcoming workshop. If you have any suggestion, any comment or feedback that you want to include in this upcoming workshop, then this is a very good chance to give us the feedback so we can also adjust and prepare the agenda as per your requirement. And definitely, we will invite you for this upcoming workshop, but we will also invite our BTR coordinators and the country focal points. So if there is some person, those who are really working in the field, and if they have a time, please they can convenient. So I would request all of you to access this Mentimeter. The link is also in the chat box, and if you can also see in the screen to scan this QR code. So I will wait here for 2-3 minutes to see. Okay, I think you guys have USCP and PNLL has done a very good agenda. So people are saying no need to include anything. Everything is perfect. One suggestion is to clarify that there are any difference between the discussion and the TNA phase 5 of the UNEP Copenhagen, and if there is a room for the. Okay, so this is for the different part. This is not for this USCP for this projection webinar, but yeah, looking for some more technical session. Okay. If you want to add something to this upcoming webinar, please feel free to comment here. Any particular thing related to considering your country or need more on developing projects and tools. Okay. Yeah, yes, I think there are so many tools for the projection, but yeah, we can discuss what is the each tool has the functions and everything. So yeah, for some tools are licensed versions. So some tools are only available for the developing country that we can use, but yeah, we can discuss and we can provide you the list of tools that are freely available for the developing country or with support or and what are the possible options. Creating relevant demand function to be used in projection of emission. Yeah, so there is some person are already involved in the projection. Economic consideration, data collection. Uncertainty and risk. Yeah, when we say the word projection, it automatically comes the uncertainty. So yeah, how we can reduce the uncertainty and provide accurate based judgment that we can do in the our workshop. If anyone has any question to just, you can also unmute your mic and speak. I got only 13 responses and we have more than 50 people. So I would request maybe more about assumption simplification because the data collection issue is quite complicated. Yeah. We are doing the projection based on the data that we have collected. And if
Yeah.
the data is already higher uncertainty, then of course projection has a higher uncertainty. So okay, so this is the one question and another question is about the feedback. So if you are not asking anything, then I will ask about the feedback.
These are excellent questions and comments. These are
Yeah,
exactly the
I
sort of
think
things.
yeah, it will be helpful for us to also the preparing the agenda of the upcoming workshop. And as we are also available to discuss bilaterally if you have anything for any capacity building support or anything even immediately for the first BTR, we are available. So
Yeah.
please do not hesitate to contact. And our target is to build a long-term relationship and to provide a long-term support in this greenhouse gas emission projection. So please do not hesitate to contact us. And I think there is no question, so maybe I can say some few sentences and hand over to the Eric for the closing remark. But we are very happy to see the large group of people, those who are interested in a greenhouse gas emission projection, and you are already working. That's the good thing, and you all understand that this is important topic in the not only the BTR but NDC in the country's reporting. So. So in the next, we encourage all of you to register for this upcoming workshop. We will send you all the detail via email through all the agenda and link and everything. And we will also invite the country focal point and these people, those who are involved in the BTR and the NDC. So I would request take the advantage of all the resources offered by the Paris Agreement Transparency Accelerator by the US EPA and the team of experts that are ready to provide long-term collaboration and support to all the countries of the Asia. So I would request to start considering how you can apply this in your uh, country, considering the national context, and identify the key stakeholder in your country, the team, those who are working in this greenhouse gas emission inventory projection or NDC, So please inform them also and invite them also for the upcoming workshop. And I think, yeah, then the stay connected with the all USCPA, PNNL, and CBGSP. The network that we are building is a valuable resources for sharing the experience and the best practices. And we are also discussing to put a one session on discussing the experience of this all country, those who have already, some of are already done very good work in the preparing the projection. So we will also put some session to sharing experience in this upcoming. So with this, I think your participation today is grateful to our commitment to transparency and effective climate action. And thank you once again for your time, your insight, and your dedication to this important work. And we look forward to our continued collaboration and seeing the positive impact on our efforts to do this capacity building support. And I will hand over to the Eric for the final closing speech of this today's webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay Paul. The final slide that we have in the presentation simply has our contact information. We are grateful to everyone for their time and for their thoughts and their contributions to the Mentimeter. Please let us know what and how we can collaborate with you. What would be of interest? Certainly, we think that the upcoming webinar, the upcoming workshop is a chance to kick off a longer term process. But certainly we can start with the with simple email to our email to the contact information you see here, and we can follow up with you more directly. But we look forward to planning the workshop, planning our engagements, and planning the ways that we might be able to provide assistance, as Jay Paul said so eloquently, working on this important topic. With that, again, Jay Paul, thank you, and to my colleagues and to everyone who's participated. It's been a great pleasure, and we look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Pelina, and thank you, Gokul, for the very informative presentation. And all the participants, the email ID is there, and we have already emailed you all the details. So don't hesitate to contact you for any bilateral activity, anything. We are happy to support you. So with this, we are closing this webinar and see you soon in the upcoming workshop in the end of the next month. Thank you so much for your active participation. Thank you.
Thank you to all. Bye.
Bye.